Hey, school improvement team. We're actually at NC State today with our Lead at Neal ambassadors. So we wanted to record a quick video to talk to you about this program and see how it might play a role in our school improvement team. The goal here is to get feedback from you all on how that we might continue working with Lead at Neal in order to make our students leaders in our school and look at long-term planning around school climate and culture. So first, I want to give a shout out to Dr. Gray. He has been a huge help on this, and iScholar and the NC State team has been providing a lot of resources as well as expertise to our students as they try to think about our school climate and how they might lead in making it better. I want to start with a quick quote that struck me. I was reading a little bit about the civil rights movement and particularly the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee and young people during the civil rights movement. And Cleveland Sellers, who was a leader at the time, had this quote to say, as part of him thinking about organizing at the time, that young people were much more interested in the kind of basic things that we still think young people are today than they were about civil rights or about organizing at the time. And it struck me because I think we all think about young people, and sometimes we talk a lot about apathy or get discouraged because we think that young people don't care. Um, when really the reality is we have to build intentional spaces to allow their voices to be heard. So in the civil rights movement, we thought it looked like this. But the reality was, behind the scene, there were all of these safe spaces being built, freedom schools and other programs to allow young people to lead themselves and give them those tools. So out of that, we started thinking about how do we build really robust community so that we can implement our restorative practices better, so we can see increased academic achievement, and ultimately so that our young people can become the leaders we want them to be in the world. And we started looking at our school climate survey, and what we found was some numbers that had really dropped across the course of the last several years. All the way from I'm interested and engaged in my classes to students are nice to each other and are treated fairly. This shows us that we need to get young people involved, to think a little more about what's affecting them, and work toward making it better. So, through all this, we started to develop these Lead at Neal ambassadors, thinking about how do we give our students the skills to be leaders, to advocate, to think about diversity in their school environment, and ultimately build an equity mindset. So, what does the program look like? Well, in the fall, we took an initial group of about 35 students to NC State, where they participated in interviewing each other about their experiences at Neal, learning about what it could look like to do action research as young people, and ultimately coming up with some final ideas for how they might move this forward. Today, we're actually at NC State doing this second group training where students are learning how to collect qualitative and quantitative data, do focus groups, and look deeper at our student climate survey. They'll be developing a podcast as well as a presentation, and then they'll be focus grouping with students and staff throughout the rest of the spring. This program is designed so that they can be leaders and ultimately create recommendations that will go to our leadership team and to our staff about how to increase welcoming, belonging, and build a better school climate at Neal. Thanks for listening a little bit about this. As we move forward, we'd love your feedback on how these students can work, what projects they can work on, and what questions you have about the work that they've done thus far. Thank you. Y'all have a nice day. Please follow the link at the bottom in green and leave us some feedback before you go.